إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ثم أما بعد. In the previous khutbah, we spoke about how to not reach your anger, how to control yourself to not reach the anger. And we mentioned during the khutbah a great thing called the patience. The patience with everything happening in our world, with ourselves, with our families, with our neighbors. And when we try to describe the patience, we were going to say, when Allah has made the patient, He make it like a horse that never gets tired, an army that can never be defeated, and a strong fortress that can never be breached. Patience and victory are twin brothers. For victory come with patience, relief come with the distress, and ease come with the hardship. Actually, when I tried to prepare the patience for how to speak out the patience, I found a lot of verses in the Quran speak about patience and how we should get patient and what is the reward when you are patient. And this make me wonder why a lot of people doesn't have patience anymore, even Muslims. Why Muslims doesn't have patience? They get stressed really quick. But I didn't take all the verses, I just collect some of them. قال الله تعالى إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب. Allah Azza Jal said in the Quran that He guaranteed those who are patient that He will give them reward without measure. So when you had the patient, Allah Azza Jal will gonna give you reward. He never, you cannot even count it. So that's really a good business. So it's just easy to be patient, to learn how, if you practice really good, how to calm down and all that stuff during all what we have right now happening in the society and around us, from the attacks and everything and the Muslim blames everywhere. For us as men, we don't have much this problem because the people walking now, in my country, if I religious, they're gonna have a beard, but here everyone have beard. Everyone from us you cannot tell if he's a Muslim or not from the way that he dress. But our women's, this is ladies that they do jihad, the real one of the jihad here, because they dress as Muslims, and it's really easy to know that she's a Muslim woman walking by. But if you walk near me, I wouldn't know. If I didn't know you from the masjid or from the community, I will never know that you're Muslims. So we need to tell to our ladies that be proud of Islam. Don't think to take your scarf away. Don't think to take your religion down just because what happened and what you will cause to you. And this is, we're going to give you patience. The patience is not to accept the ibtila. The ibtila is the hard time or the hardship that it's happened to every one of us with anything. It can be small thing, it can be big thing. Anything can happen bad to you. It's a test from Allah Azza wa Jal to you. To win this test, it's not by avoiding it. To win in this test is by knowing it's from Allah Azza wa Jal, and you try to be patient on it. To keep calm and have it. Not try to avoid it and run away, because a lot of people, after everything happened to Islam or by Muslims, they said, I was gonna shave my beard. A lot of non-Muslims have beard outside. So don't think that if you shave your beard, this will gonna protect you. If Allah Azza wa Jal wants you to be protected, you will be protected and no one can harm you. But if Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't want you to be protected, He will not gonna protect you. So it's really easy. And we are Muslims. Allah Azza wa Jal gave us a lot of prayers. The Prophet ﷺ teach us a lot of prayers to protect. So if you didn't know the prayers, you can find it in like a book called Hisn al-Muslim, or any askar book you can have. Anything has askar, you're gonna find askar for you to go outside your home, for you to go to the restroom, for you to do everything. There is a specific prayer. If you said it and you had faith in Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah Azza wa Jal will protect you. But if you say it like normal reading text messages or just reading a newspaper, it will not gonna be good enough, because you should have faith on it. Patient is of more help to the one who has it than men, as it help without any need for equipment or numbers. And its relationship to victory is like that of the head to the body. The patient, as another explanation, he like our head and our body. So without our head and our body, can you be survive? You will never gonna be survive. If you lose your head, that means you're die. So the patient to our human being is the same thing for our bodies, is like the head to our bodies. Allah tell us, if you are patient and pious, the bolt of the enemy cannot do any harm, even if they are really powerful. Allah Azza wa Jal say, وَإِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا لَا يَضُرُّكُمْ كَيْدُهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا يَعْمَلُونَ مُحِيطٌ. However they do to attack us, if you're really with God, nothing will gonna harm you. But if you really feel it, because I cannot guarantee, like a lot, like all of us remember the stories, the one he had problem in his stomach at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and then he advised him to take honey, because Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran that the honey is so useful. And then when this guy came to the Prophet after a while and he told him the honey doesn't make anything to my relative stomach, he still had the pain. The Prophet ﷺ said, I believe in Allah, and your stomach, like the person that he had this illness, his stomach lies, but Allah Azza wa Jal is true. So it's up to your faith in Allah Azza wa Jal and the ways that you reach. If you cannot reach, try to practice how to reach. Try to see the nearest halaqah in your nearest masjid community. Try to learn more about Islam, because this is the only way for us to learn how to have more faith in Allah Azza wa Jal and to help us to defeat any problems happen to us by knowing the truth. Like a few days ago, I have a coworker with me at the work, and they're like, oh, you're Muslim? You're a terrorist, right? Aren't you? I was like, I've been working here for a while, I'm not terrorist. But the media say, I said, okay, good. You hear from the media, now it's time to hear from me. So instead of hearing about us, let's hear from us. Let them hear from us, not hear about us. We're gonna solve the problem. But then when you want them to come to hear from us, you find a lot of Muslims doesn't have any information about Islam. Like, how can I answer the question? And that's the sad part, because at this time he feel you don't have any knowledge. So this thing, you start look in your nearest community places that they had halaqas, and then try to attend to the halaqah. Try to attend and bring your kids with you to learn also about Islam, because you are Muslim and you're supposed to have this knowledge. And the other part of the khutbah today, we're going to speak about the neighbor rights. We live in a country, the majority of it is non-Muslims, maybe Christian, Jewish, other religions, or even the non-religious people. So we need to know, what does the neighbor mean? The neighbors, most of the scholar categories the neighbors as three partners. The first one of them, he's a relative Muslim, live near you, the next door to you. So he had three rights: Islam, and the relatives, that he's one of your family members, and the next door neighbor. So he had these three rights. And the second thing, he's a neighbor, he's a Muslim, but he's not from your family, and he's near to you. This one have two rights: Islam, and he's near to you. And the third one, and this is the most common sense in the people that they live here in the US, The ones that he's non-believer or non-Muslims, neighbor. So this one, take one thing. This thing is the rights of your neighbor, your next door neighbor. And all of them, all the three people that I speak about, they take the most of the rights together that you should do to them and you should act with them. How many times, if you think in your life, how many times you did something to your non-Muslim neighbor? How many times you check if he had food in his house or no? How many times you try to check if he can afford the living here, if you had enough or even not enough, like if you just have like a little bit extra and you can share it with him? How many times you cook food and tell him this is a gift? This is this is just the basic rights for your neighbor. It doesn't matter if he's Muslim or he's not Muslim. Now we speak about humanity in Islam. This is how Islam works. The Prophet ﷺ, we all know the story, that the Prophet ﷺ have a Jewish neighbor. And this Jewish neighbor every day throw trash in front of the door of the Prophet ﷺ house. And then one day, the Prophet ﷺ doesn't find the trash in front of his house. He check, it's not there. So he go and knocks the door and check on his neighbor. He said, you know, you daily throw trash in front of my door, but today you didn't. So is everything is okay? Can some one of us do this without fighting? Like, I'm not saying like you were gonna clean it every day. No. The Prophet clean it every day. I'm saying to you, if I throw trash now in front of your door, you were gonna let me leave, or you were gonna shoot me, or you were gonna come and fight with me? What is your next action? The Prophet ﷺ doesn't do any of those things. The Prophet ﷺ clean it every day. And then when he miss it, he's like, not say, Alhamdulillah, finally this guy forget about me. No, he go, knocks the door. Hey, you throw the trash every day in front of my door. Is everything is okay because today I didn't find anything? Can you do that with Muslim or with non-Muslim neighbor? The most of us were gonna think about it, but I don't know if you really can do. And this is the Prophet ﷺ. This is our leaders. This is the ones that we should follow. And he did this. He doesn't fight. He doesn't argue with him. The guy gets shame. He became a Muslim because this is our behavior. This is our deeds. Not to fight. Our deeds is how to be nice to people, not ignoring people. I looked up for a story, tried to make it like match in my mind the reality before I prepared to this khutbah today. One guy won't sell his house. He lived near one of the Prophet companion. His name is Sa'd ibn al-As, not Sa'id. Sa'd ibn al-As. So he sells the house. He said the house cost 100 grand. But for you to be neighbor for this guy, I will gonna make a bid in like 200 grand. This is not the house payment. This is just to be neighbor to this person. And imagine what? A lot of people come and they start bid, it's make it higher. So the house is 100 grand because he needs 100 grand, but he's also want more money, so he won't sell his neighbor rights to this person. So it's reached almost like 500 to 700 grand because they won't live near this person. And then one guy come, that's foolish. Why we pay a lot of money just to be neighbor for this person? He doesn't know him. So he said, imagine a person, when you do a bad behavior with him, he will gonna respect you and give you good deed in the back of it. Like, you harm him and he will gonna treat you really good. A person that if you are in need, he will gonna help you. And he keep explaining how it's important for him, like it's so bad and sad for him to leave this neighborhood, and he make a lot of money effort just to leave him. So when Sa'd ibn al-As knows that this guy in need for 100 grand, he send it. He doesn't like, oh, he need 100 grand and he tried to sell his house. I'm gonna send him the money. So this is the real neighborhood in Islam. If you are in need, I'm here to help you. Not if you are in need, I will gonna turn my back for you and leave. This is not Islam. If you are in need, I'm here. I'm standing, I'm gonna help you. The most problems happen to us here in the US as Muslims, and again the Islamophobia thing against Muslims. is because these people have leak in knowledge, almost like the most of Muslims too. And this is sad. Because if you had the knowledge, you can go there, and instead of fighting with him, you are going to be explaining to him Islam. You hate terrorists, we hate terrorists. You hate the bad people, we also hate the bad people. I had bad people in my religion, and you had bad people in your religion. We don't categorize any person with the ways that he came from. So the right of our neighbor to educate them, try to see. A lot of Sahaba, the Prophet ﷺ tells them, when you cook food, try to cook more. If you had, cook more and then go and give the people, your neighbors. Tell him, oh, my wife cooks this meal, take it. How many, one of us here, his wife throw a lot of food that is not good to eat because she cook a lot of food and it's over than the need of the people, and then he will be damaged. Before it's get damaged, when you cook it, you cook a lot. Take some of it and think about the poor people. We have a lot of homeless people here. It doesn't mean he need to be a Muslim to get your food. It doesn't mean that he need to be religious to get your food. It's a human being, something that we should do. You had, someone doesn't had, we should work together. It's not a charity conversation. I don't speak here to make you give charity, but I mean, this is one of the right neighbors. Even in Islam, I read something, the Prophet ﷺ, he said the worst part is if you try to steal your next door neighbor, then it's to steal from the 10 houses far away from you. Stolen is bad, but at the same time the Prophet tried to give it how it's really bad. Don't steal from your neighbor. Don't steal from the next door neighbor. Like if you really were going to steal, try to steal as far as possible, because the punishment will going to be worse if it's from your next door neighbor, because he should feel safe near you. He doesn't need to feel harmed by you. And we also remember the Prophet ﷺ hadith. He said, ما زال جبريل يوصيني بالجار حتى ظننت أنه سيورثه. The explanation of the hadith that Jibreel alayhi salam keep advising the Prophet ﷺ to take care about his neighbor until the Prophet ﷺ feel after his neighbor passed away, Jibreel was going to take some of his stuff that he owned. It's not reality, but this is the importance of your neighbor. He doesn't say take care of your Muslim neighbors. He doesn't say take care of your Abu Bakr as-Siddiq as his best friend, companion, as your neighbor. No, he said to the people, take care of your neighbor. He doesn't say you're Muslim, you're religious, your best friend. He doesn't say what religion, what type of person he are. He said take care of your neighbor. If you didn't raise your kid to know those meanings in our lives, this is how we survive. This is the meaning of humanity. By you take care of other people, not laugh at other people, respect people. All these manners, it's important in our life. And then عن أبو هريرة رضي الله عنه وأرضاه, he said, he heard the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said the rights from Muslim on a Muslim 5. When he said Assalamu alaikum, you should repeat it back. A lot of Muslims, when you walk by and you said Assalamu alaikum, he will be like, I'm not from here, I cannot hear you. I remember one person, when I tell him Assalamu alaikum, he tell me I cannot speak Arabic. That's interesting, but because I believe that all Muslims know what Assalamu alaikum means. So, and accepting the invitation. If I invite you to something, Islam said that you should accept the invitation, unless if you had something temporarily, like really urgent, you cannot attend. And when you face him, you should start saying Assalamu alaikum. So if you see a Muslim, you should, and you know he's a Muslim, you should start him saying Assalamu alaikum. And when he sneezes, you said Yarhamukumullah. But he should say Alhamdulillah first. As a lot of scholars said, if he doesn't say Alhamdulillah after he sneezes, he doesn't deserve to get the mercy after your prayer to him. So he should say after he sneezes and say Alhamdulillah. And I believe that he should make it a little bit louder after he sneezes to say Alhamdulillah, so the Muslim friends can hear it, so they can tell him back Yarhamukumullah. If he get ill, we should visit him, right? A lot of people doesn't visit a lot of people when they get sick. They're like, he will be fine. No, if he's sick and you know he's sick, he's a Muslim, you should visit him. Even if it's your neighbor and it's not Muslim and he gets sick, you also should visit him. And don't speak about this when you are visiting an ill person. You should speak about hope, about belief, give him like hope in the life. Don't try to destroy his dreams about he became better. So tell him, you know, the illness that you had, no one success to win. You will die, no way. So I'm just come to tell you, it's a short time, so I just came to see you before you pass away. This is not a good way. He will gonna die before even his time. So try to give him hope. Also, if he died, if he passed away, it's your duty to attend to his funeral. And if he call you, try to answer. Not leave him to the voicemail. Don't try to text him back. I mean by calling, the normal calling before the cell phone is if I'm calling someone by his name. But now because we all had cell phones and usually all of us were going to be like, if I want to call you and you're far away, I'm not going to say, oh, Muhammad. No, I'm going to just get the phone and try to call you. So it's from Sunnah if you don't have, if he called you, of course, in a good time because the phone had even behavior and deeds, how to use your cell phone. If he called you in a good time and all this kind of stuff that he take in progress, you should answer him. Don't leave him to your voicemail. Don't let him send him a text unless you're busy. Because everyone, maybe I call someone and I don't know if he's busy or not. So this thing, normally when I try to take a number from someone and I know that I will gonna try to reach him, I ask him, what is the best time for me to call you? If you want me to call you, what is the best time for me to call? So this is the rights for Muslims on other Muslim brothers. And then we came to a very important hadith, and I was gonna try to end the first session with this hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال والله لا يؤمن والله لا يؤمن والله لا يؤمن قالوا وما ذاك يا رسول الله قال الجار لا يأمن جاره بوائقه قالوا يا رسول الله وما بوائقه قال شره. Allah Azza wa Jal, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he swear on God that the guy he doesn't have believing face, he will not gonna have a believing face. He will not gonna have a believing face 3 times. And then the Prophet, the companion of the Prophet asked him like, why? Why he will not gonna have believing face? He said, if your neighbor doesn't feel safe near you, you are not believer and you don't have faith. So if your neighbor, he doesn't also say if it's your Muslim neighbors doesn't feel safe. So a lot of us now living in this country, everyone get dedicated to the media. He thinks that all Muslims are terrorists, but he doesn't know that his next door neighbor is Muslim. So it's really a good time to start to practice your neighbor's righthood. Try to give him advice, try to give him a help. The Prophet ﷺ said it's not from Islam if you sleep with a full stomach and your neighbors doesn't have, he had an empty stomach. He doesn't say your Muslim neighbor. He doesn't, because it's Muslim. If it's Muslim, the Prophet is going to say you should feed your Muslim neighbors. But the Prophet ﷺ leave it because remember in Mecca, the most of people around the Prophet ﷺ, they are not Muslims. When Islam started, not all the people around the Prophet ﷺ are Muslims. In Medina, the same thing. In everywhere in the world. So if he just say stop giving the people, that's not be good. So we should giving the people. If we had over limit or just minimum, the Prophet ﷺ keep speaking about how blessing when you share your food with others, even if it's less, Allah Azza wa Jalla will gonna make it enough for all of you. But when you eat alone, however you do, it will not gonna work. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. So I was gonna just pass quick the things without explaining, sorry, because I don't have enough time. So the most of the rights and things that we should do to our neighbors. The first thing, answering when he say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and accepting the da'wah. The second thing, to be able, however he harm you, to feel calm and smile to him. Like, you know, I don't know how to say it, but Allah Azza wa Jal said, "Idfa' billati hiya ahsan." And you remember the stories that I said before about the Jewish neighborhood. So however he do to you, the Prophet ﷺ keep smiling and try to help him. To check in him and to look if he is needy, and you can help him to fix the stuff that he's need to, you can do this. 5, to protect him and secure him, and to be like an example, like his cover. So no one can know anything about him if you are around him. You surrounded him with really good. So if you see your neighbor do something bad, don't go to the media and like, my neighbor does this and this and this. No, try to be his cover, because it's really bad when you blow someone up, even if it's not Muslim. Advice, and this is a very important thing. When you see your neighbor do something wrong, try to advise him. And we all as Muslim, we should accept when someone else advises us. Don't think that he's so way better or better than you to this thing he advise you. No, it doesn't mean this. The Prophet ﷺ take advice from Salama. The Prophet ﷺ take advice from his wife. The Prophet ﷺ take advice from very near people like Salman al-Farisi. So even he is a prophet, but he's still taking advices. But we now, if I told you I have advice for you, you feel like you are God. You don't accept advices. That's not good. This is not Muslim behavior. Even Harun al-Rashid, one of the Muslim kings, he take advice from a crazy person. He asked him, he tell him, give me an advice. And then he told him, he take him from his hand, he show him the palace that he live in, and then he show him the sand. And then he keep pointing to the palace and the sand 3 times. And then when he explained to him, he told him, however you build this really good and fancy and you live in it, one day you will be in the sand. So all what you build will not gonna be with you in the other life. And he's a crazy person. So imagine a crazy person gives this advice. Ghouls are crazy right now to get this advice. And one of the most good people, he was praying. He said, أعوذ بك من جار السوء. He put prayer in his prayer to ignore the bad neighbor live near him. A lot of people sell their houses with a very low, in the past, with very low amount of money, and when they said, why you are losing money? He said, no, I winning because I was gonna leave the bad neighbor. So, and all of us now, if anyone live in a neighborhood, like a bad neighborhood, and he had the kids, he will gonna try to go to a better neighborhood because he doesn't want to live there, right? This is a human being thing. Inshallah, it will be like a vigil after the prayer, inshallah. So I would like everyone from you to attend and to stop. So we need to give a message. However, sometimes if we stand there, some people are going to come say bad words to us. We try to control ourselves with a big smile. The Prophet ﷺ said, you get reward when you smile. So smile is for free and it's helpful for your life too. So when you smile, give you more health, and at the same time you get reward. It's a very good business. So I offer you, inshallah, after the prayer, we attend to it and we stop there and we try to answer the people if they had questions about Islam and Muslims, and try to make sure that everything is calm and clean. And please, no one try to make anything bad. And if you cannot handle yourself, feel free to leave. We stopping, we practice Islam, we try to show them this is the real Islam. The others are not. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت وتولنا فيمن توليت اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا ومن شر خلقك سلمنا ولغيرك لا تكلنا اللهم ارحم ضعفنا واجبر كسرنا وتولى أمرنا وأحسن ختامنا اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار ثبت قلوبنا على دينك اللهم يا مصرف القلوب والأبصار صرف قلوبنا على طاعتك. اللهم وارزقنا كلمة الحق في الغضب والرضا. اللهم ارزقنا كلمة الحق في الغضب والرضا. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وأقم الصلاة.